Unmanaged resources needs special arrangement to the object to get deallocated from the memory space. So what are the example of unmanaged resources? The examples are like your huge media files, like audio file, your video files, your large picture, or your network objects or your DB objects. So these are the huge objects which resides into memory space unless you deallocate it wisely. So assume you have a room where you have piled up many objects inside or boxes inside it, where it's a suffocating to live there. The same way, assume that you have a program and you have piled up all the unmanaged resources. The time will come again, because of its very large objects, it can be lead into a problem of memory leak or software crash. It's not like managed resources which happens automatically, that leverage is not there. But in today's video, which would be the last topic of this series of managed and unmanaged resources allocation and deallocation of memory, where we will be seeing how we can deallocate memory from the unmanaged perspective. So there is a pattern called Disposable pattern, and it has a method called Dispose, which will help us to deallocate very wisely the unmanaged resources. So let's begin. And I am Vivek Kumar, and I welcome to my channel Buddhi Towards Wisdom, where you can see many technical aspects of C#.net. So let's begin. As we have seen into the managed resources, it's automatically deallocation. It's very easy, and the file sizes are very less. But if you talk about the managed resources, so in managed resources, file stream, DB connection, big images, and network socket comes, which has a very big size. So remember, it gets piled up if you don't deallocate on time, and it is getting piled up, and the time will come where you will get a memory leak or your system will get crash. So before going it, what are the ways to deallocate and what are the patterns? So first we'll see what is a disposable pattern. So as it is mentioned, implementing a disposable pattern. So it is disposable pattern it implements, which has a dispose method, which is called up for the free of the resources. So this is a very good thing to implement a disposable method in terms of unmanaged resources. So if we talk about the next, the key component of the dispose pattern. So first is disposable disposable interface, so dispose implementation. So it defines a dispose method for releasing resources. That is really very important. And again, this is the dispose method, which is used to deallocate mostly unmanaged, but managed resources also you can use to deallocate. For example, you have a application or method where you have both the things, managed and unmanaged resources. You can use the disposable interface and disposable interface, where a dispose method is called. There you can define both. That's how we will see it. And finally, it is a finalizer or disk constructor, which provides a safety net to release unmanaged resources if dispose is not called. So this also we have to be careful. We have to use it very wisely. And it is called by the .NET framework. So we'll get for the best practices. So what are the best practices is used or we should use for the disposable pattern? So the first is always call gcd or suppress finalizer, and bracket is this with the current object. So it is used in the dispose. This prevents the finalizer from being called if the object has already been disposed of. And by doing it, you can save the memories, precious memory resources, and your system would be very faster. Second is that use protected dispose, which is true false, a parameter boolean type. So in that, what happens that this method centralizes all the cleanup code and differentiates between explicit and finalizer calls. This is also very important. And the last we have implement a finalizer only if required, because it's a costly process, and it uses finalizer only when dealing with the unmanaged resources directly. For managed resources, rely on dispose and don't call the finalizer method. And again, note, finalizer is a very costly affair. So be careful about it. And yeah, this is it. Thank you. So let's understand the disposable pattern with an example. So here we have an snippet boilerplate of disposable, where dispose method is there for it, and we have a dispose boolean variable which we first declare false. We will see why it is false, and it is to track whether its dispose is called or not. So again we have a method dispose where we are calling again a dispose method. Here we are passing it true and false. So this is parameter less, this is with parameter full, and we call it this is suppress finalizer to prevent the recalling of the finalize method which .NET can call. So to prevent, if it is called, do not call again, and save the, again costly, it's a costly process, so save the resources. Now it's a virtual method where we have a dispose with the disposing as boolean arguments, and what happens is that first time here we have a false, so what will happen, not is true, it will come inside, okay, and again it is a false, what will happen, it will come here and execute these lines. So here unmanaged zone is there, you have to deallocate unmanaged resources, and here it is for freeing managed resources. So it is used by both, but mostly it is used for unmanaged, but we can do both. So again it's a deconstructor, so it is for the finalizer to handle cleanup as a fallback mechanism, and here we call it as a false here. So see, what if somebody calls it dispose method or and it is a false, so when it comes here false, it becomes true, it goes inside, it becomes true, and it will deallocate the managed resources, otherwise it will deallocate unmanaged resources. So this is one thing. So we'll see the another example, which is a real-time example. So here we have a file handler where we have defined a file stream and some pointer, unmanaged resource pointer here, where we will be seeing how to we are deallocating it. It's about simulating of unmanaged resources. Again dispose variable, first declare false. So here file handler constructor is being called, and definitions and all are done here, and here the exact dispose method called same way like true. So here we are passing the true, and again suppress finalizer to prevent the finalizer from running it again. So here the dispose method is working, how it is working. So again it's not equal to true if depend upon the boolean variable. So we have to use it boolean variable very wisely. True and false depend upon your need. So if it is true, what will happen, it will not come inside, it will go out. So once it is false, so it will be true, it will come here, it will not, it will, since it is a it will be, if it is a true, it will be false, so it will not come. If it is false, it will come inside, it will check what disposing we have called. So again we have passing it here disposing. So disposing, it will come, if it is true, it will remove the managed resources, file stream dot dispose. You can see here it is getting disposed. Otherwise it will free up unmanaged resources. So this is the resources, unmanaged resources, which we have defined here, you can see. So here we are freeing up the resources inside this if condition, and again we are making a dispose is equal to true. So mind it, we have a two variable, one is disposed and one is disposing. So disposing, when it is called, we pass it, and disposed we call it to take care if it is go well and it doesn't call unnecessary other things to be executed. So again lastly it is deconstructor where it is calling as false, dispose false here, and yeah. So this is all about a basic example of dispose pattern. So here we can have a facility to deallocate managed resources as well as unmanaged resources. Hope you would have been learned many things about managed resources and unmanaged resources and how the deallocation of them is done. So we need to use it very wisely in our program. Whenever you create an object, make sure you should deallocate it, and it should not come to a situation where all the objects gets piled up and you turn into a memory leak or large software crash. So you can see other videos of this series and get benefit out of it. Till then, please take care. Bye bye.